Good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your part of the world. This is King B with another video. Welcome to this channel. And you see the title on the screen. I saw this, and this article, Newsweek dropped this article sometime yesterday. And, I saw this title, and it kind of just blew me away when I read it. Like, it was one of them situations where I kind of scratched my head when I had to do a double take, like, huh, what? But we're going to get into this and see exactly what's going on. Supreme Court Justice asks if city can unalive homeless people. Wow. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, during oral arguments in a homelessness case on Monday, asked if cities will be permitted to unalive homeless people. The Gloria Johnson versus Grants Pass case focuses on whether homeless people have a right to sleep outside. The Oregon city was sued by homeless people who said the government illegally banned sleeping bags, blankets, pillows, and cardboard boxes to prevent them from sleeping on the streets, even as no other space or shelter was available. Wow. People going through enough, not having any shelter and being out in the streets, having to deal with being harassed by individuals out there because they see them as they don't even look at them as being a human being, and they do mean things to them. They even they target them. They have to deal with a whole lot of dangers being out there. And on top of that, we have in Oregon City, it's illegal they're banning sleeping bags, blankets, and pillows. I mean, how about helping them? How about giving some assistance? How about offering to teach them skills or trades so that they can get on their feet and be self-sufficient? How about that? Not necessarily, it's not about giving them a handout, but teach them some skills. Teach them some trades. Give them that opportunity so that they can learn a skill or learn a valuable trade, and then they can go out there and they can, and they can work and build themselves up and use that skill or trade to be their own boss one day and work for themselves, and then pass it along and help others. Right? One person, if you help one, and maybe that one will reach back and help the next person, and then that can continue. Let's continue on with this article. In September 2022, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals deemed the local law outlawing sleeping bags and other materials to be cruel and unusual punishment, and therefore was in violation of the Constitution. I agree with that. It's like, you're punishing them for being in a terrible situation. Brown Jackson asked attorney Thean D. Evangelist, who is representing Grants Pass, what the legal implications would be if the city decided to execute homeless people. Evangelist said it would be found to be cruel and unusual punishment. Now, who thinks like that? Only a devil would think like that and ask that kind of question. You know, well, okay. Well, what legally, what would the implications be if the city just, just execute them? Who thinks like that? So what is it? Because they're out in the streets, they're not human beings. They're not worthy of life, of living life. You know, it's crazy. Justice Sonia Sotomayor then asked the attorney, "What about cities without compassion? Where are they supposed to sleep? Are they supposed to unalive themselves?" Hmm. According to the Economist reporter Stephen Mazzi on X, formerly Twitter. Sotomayor then said that cities can still enforce bans on defecation or fires in public, but it wouldn't be able to criminalize the bare act of sleeping in public as the debate continued. Depending on what the court rules, major cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles might be impacted by the decision as they face high numbers of homelessness and have large areas occupied by people living on the street. There's a lot at stake here, Elizabeth Bowen, an associate professor and homelessness expert at the University at Buffalo, told Newsweek. Criminalizing people who are homeless for activities that are legal to do inside a dwelling, such as sleeping, has a long history in the United States. This case will uphold the practice of the criminalization of homelessness or disrupt it. According to the National Homelessness Law Center, more than 600,000 people experience homelessness daily, with half forced to sleep outside. I believe that people have a human right to safe, stable, and affordable housing, Bowen said. When a country like the United States does not do enough to ensure that the right to housing is realized through expanded access to affordable housing, I believe people do have the right to sleep outside. California Governor Gavin Newsom and San Francisco Mayor London Breed have criticized the Circuit Court ruling, saying it prevents local governments from maintaining public safety. The Ninth Circuit and respondents have tried to downplay the ways in which the ruling ties local leaders' hands, but their arguments only confirm the decision's ambiguity and unworkability. An amicus brief filed by Newsom from September said respondents insist that the ruling below does not prohibit clearing encampments, yet multiple district courts have held that it does exactly that. This isn't the first time the Supreme Court has had the chance to make a ruling on the state of homelessness in the United States. In 2019, it rejected the offer to rule in Martin versus Boise, which had a similar situation at the forefront of the case. A group of 19 members in Congress have expressed their support for the earlier ruling in the Ninth Circuit in an amicus brief this month. Punishing human beings for existing where they have nowhere safe to rest is not only unconstitutional, it is also the least effective and most costly response a city can choose, the brief said. Rather than criminalize homelessness and ban the unhoused from our communities, we should invest in improving solutions to ending poverty and homelessness for good. Paul Collins, a professor of legal studies and political science at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, said the current oral arguments in the case reflect the wide-reaching implications as cities grapple with how to decrease homelessness and offer affordable housing. It is likely that the court will split down ideological lines and uphold the city's policy, Collins told Newsweek. In their questioning, the court's conservatives seemed sympathetic to grants passed, recognizing the complexity of the issue, but also signaling they believe that this area is better handled by elected officials rather than judges. The liberal members of the Supreme Court likely have a different mindset, but are outnumbered by the conservative justice supermajority. The court's liberal members were sympathetic to the homeless residents bringing the case, and seem more focused on the key issue in the case. Whether laws that punish people for being homeless are a form of cruel and unusual punishment, Collins said. Bowen echoed the sentiment, adding that criminalizing people for sleeping outdoors does not effectively ban homelessness, as people with no other options will continue to do so. They will just face moral obstacles to stabilization in terms of fines and criminal penalties, and more public resources will be spent on legal enforcement rather than affordable housing, she said. So that's the end of that article. And I mean, what do you expect people to do? I mean, there's ways to help people, And granted, you got people who are out there in the streets. They're on drugs. They're abusing drugs. You got people out there in the streets who have mental issues. They're suffering from mental issues, and some are dangerous. That's a fact. I can kind of see it from both sides. Especially for businesses and business owners. Um, it affects businesses. But again, there's ways to help people, get them off the streets. Those who need help with their mental state, they can get the help. Give them the help they need. Those who are abusing drugs or whatever, get them the help they need. Right? And again, not everybody is having there's a lot of them out there who really do want help and don't know where to turn. They're in a horrible situation. Offer them the chance to learn a trade or to learn a skill. Right? But making it illegal to sleep on the streets and banning sleeping bags and pillows, and that's not the solution. That's just punishing people who are already being punished. When you think about it, what is that solving? That's not solving the situation. And as far as this question that was asked by Ketanji Brown Jackson, as far as unaliving, that's something that may have happened already, right? What happened in San Francisco when recently when the China delegation arrived there in San Francisco and complained about how it looked, and they cleaned up the area, they cleaned up the streets. What did they do with the people with the people who are unhoused? What did they do? What happened to them? And if you research it and you look in history, what of cities that renovated areas and cleaned up the streets, what did they do with the people who was out there sleeping on the streets? Look into it. Look into the history of that. Right? And meanwhile, while they don't want to help people, I saw somewhere they're looking to give more money. This story right here. Meanwhile, while they're asking what are the legal implications if the cities can just unalive homeless people because they don't want to help them. Look at this title. Pentagon set to send $1 billion in new military aid to Ukraine once bill clears Senate and Biden. This article by the Associated Press released just 2 hours ago. 1 billion. This is on top of the all of the millions and bill that they already sent to and given to Ukraine and Israel. And again, I did a video on this, so look at my previous videos. Every year, the United States government send billions of dollars to countries like Ukraine, to Israel. Look at my previous video. I did a video on this. Right, well over $1 trillion, trillions of dollars. And I forget since what year. But I did a video on this subject, so look at my previous videos for the information. In one of my previous videos, right? But this is what's going on. This is what we're dealing with. They want to unalive. They want to murder people, and they are human beings. Even if they do have some have issues, they're still people. They're still human beings. They deserve a chance to rehabilitate themselves. They deserve that opportunity. So they want to ask, can they legally unalive them? They don't want to help them. But yet, another $1 billion in military aid to Ukraine. Yet, on top of all of the millions or billions they've already sent to Ukraine and Israel. See, they don't mind spending when it comes to that war machine. You know, wide open. It's wide open. They'll spend whatever for that war machine. And it's innocent children and women and even some and men who are the ones suffering. They got all the money. Look at all the money they're giving to the migrants who are coming across and fighting, talking about they need more free money in cities like New York City. So they got money for that, putting them up in 4-star, 5-star hotels for free, giving them more money per month than a disabled veteran who sacrificed his or her life, right? They got money for that, but they don't got money. But they want to. They don't got money to help the people who's already here, who's suffering. They again, what are the legal implications to the city? Because just unalive them. You can't help them. It reminded me of a movie that I've seen, not too long ago. What's the actor? It's a Nicolas Cage movie, and I don't remember the name of the movie. But in this movie, Nicolas Cage he's this agent, working for the government, and he goes around. They go around and they pick up people who are not being, according to them, they're not adding anything to the system. And they pick them up and they tell them, we're gonna bring you to this to this place called Eden. And Nicolas Cage, the character he plays, winds up finding out that Eden is just it's not a city, it's not a place. It's just somewhere where they take people and they unalive them. You know, men, women, and children, right? And it just so happens he goes to pick up this woman and a child, and he wound up finding out that the child is his child. I don't remember the name of this movie. If anybody's seen that, watched the movie, know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. But this is kind of what this article reminds me of. You know, because if you know that they tell you their plans and what's going on or what they plan to do in these movies, right? But yeah, this right here, I mean, eventually, and I said it before, we're gonna have to band together and stand together against this wickedness and these devils, right? Oh yeah, and then yesterday I was watching Emergency Management Associates with Ron Tyler yesterday. And shout out to Ron Tyler, Emergency Management. He does a wonderful job on his channel. Check his channel out. RLT NSPD Emergency Management Associates, where he talks about he covers earthquakes and volcanoes and as well as political as well, but mostly great information on earthquakes. He gives the real numbers on earthquakes, and he does a wonderful job on his channel. So check his channel out. Again, that's RLTNSPD Emergency Management Associates with Ron Tyler. And yesterday, Ron gave information that he received about the plan. The UN has a plan, allegedly. I gotta say allegedly. The UN have a plan to take over the United States. Okay? To take over the United States. And that the, police officers on every level, from FBI down to state to city level, have up until a certain time, I believe he said June or July of 2025, if I'm not mistaken, to paint their vehicles in UN colors. But the UN have a plan to take over the United States. They're going to eliminate everyone from federal to positions to state positions. The UN plan on taking over, allegedly. And this was yesterday on his live. So if you wanna listen to it for yourself, go on his channel, RLTNSPD Emergency Management Associates. It was a live that Ron did yesterday, and you could watch the whole live, or if you want to listen to the part that I'm talking about, and that's all. Go towards right before the end of the video, towards the end of the video where he talks about this. Okay. And if this is true, we got a lot of work. We got to get it together. We got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. Okay. He also mentioned in these papers from the UN that they have orders to just eliminate or unalive anyone who resists. So again, go on his channel and check that out. RLTNSPD Emergency Management Associates with Ron Tyler. It was a live that he did yesterday. If you want to only hear the part I'm talking about where he mentions this and Ron talks about this, go towards the end of the video. It was a live video he did yesterday. And he talks about this right before he ended his live. Okay? But there is a lot going on. And if this is true, we have a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. We really need to get it together and band together and forget all the nonsense and the distractions. Okay? And the UN already, matter of fact, the UN is already here in some places. Okay? But I'm King B. That's all I have for this video. Love yourself unconditionally. Keep your loved ones close. Talk about your plans. Stay prepared so that whatever happens, whatever situation you may encounter, you know exactly what to do. Everyone involved in your circle knows exactly what to do and is able to do their part. Protect the children and the babies at all costs. Protect our women. Shout out to our natural women out there. And that's all I have for you. This is King B. I'm gone.